This video is a continuation from the previous. Okay, so I fixed this, so now when I move the base, the whole thing. And all I did was I just selected this one, mirrored it, and kept it as a copy. Okay, so now that I have all of these connected to each other, I can move my fingers independently of my hand. So I can move the fingers like this. And however, if I move the hand, the fingers come with it. And if I move the upper arm, it takes the hand and the fingers with it. And that is how I have rigged a system to create a functioning part. Now, this is not at all unlike your literal, and I was using the term fingers and hands to make that analogy on purpose, not at all like your own body. You can start to look at things that way. So, for instance, my fingers move on their own, and my hand wiggles, but it stays in place. If I move my hand, I take my fingers with it. And this is exactly how this works, and this is how you want to link things. You want to start with your fingers or your toes, link to the hands or your toes to your feet, your hands to your upper arm to your, in this case we have a ball joint, your elbow to your upper arm to your shoulder to your body, your torso. And that's literally how you're gonna link things in systems like that. You're going to start with a thing that moves independent of everything else first, and then link in succession down the chain. Until eventually what happens is when this is finally all linked down the line, this comes with it. Okay? So let's do a little bit of animating with this. It's tough. Don't beat yourselves up too much in the beginning when you start learning how to do this. You're going to have to get comfortable with playing around with it until you start to feel more comfortable with it. And you, like with anything, y'all know by now how I feel about this. The more you practice, the better you get at it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn on my auto key. And actually well, I'm going to need all my views. Let's turn on my auto key. And I'm going to set a keyframe so that everybody is right here. Okay? So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to move to, let's say, frame 10. And I'm going to select this arm. And I'm going to bend it down like this. Now, you see right here, it says 45. Instant change. I'm just going to type in 45 and it will be exact. Now, a word about incremental snapping. You can also turn on your angle snap toggle and it will allow you to rotate. I'm just going to do that by 5-degree increments. I recommend you always work with this because if I ever want to return this to its upright and locked position, I know that I can do it more easily by working with those perfect angles. If I just rotate this and later on I want to rotate it back, it's going to be virtually impossible to remember what I rotated it to in the first place randomly and then to get it back there without doing some math. So turn on up here your angle snap toggle and work with those snaps, okay? So right there for 10, and then I'm going to move to 15, and at 15 I'm going to rotate open my jaws or claws, whatever you're going to call those, pinchers. And then at 20, I'm going to select my hand and rotate that down. And I'm also going to rotate this sphere down. And then at 30, let's make some more rotations. Rotate this further down. And rotate this further down. And you see I could grab something if it was there. Straighten this back out. Let's just do, whoops, oh, I couldn't find a box. Right, you can do a box. You can now pick this up. Most people put the box there first. I put it there after, because it's a lot easier to put the box in now than to try to put it in later. Okay, and so now, where's my box? I'm going to move it to here. I'm going to rotate those pinchers closed on the box. And don't worry if you go inside. You want to go inside the box a little bit. It's okay. Nobody will know that you did that. It's more believable that it's like pressing the fingers than if you leave a gap. Okay? And so that, you see now that allows me, I'm going to turn this off, go back, and then play that through this animation. Stop selecting that, scale this up. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. Okay, and now let's watch and see what we've been able to do here. Okay, so that is a rig. That's what a rig does. We can now use other techniques using link constraints to pick this up. And I'm actually going to show you in another video how to do link constraints. For this one, we're just focusing on how to set up the rig and how to then animate that rig. But this is considered a rig without bones. We didn't use any bones in our rig. Now, here's what I want to focus on in this video. I may not be happy with some of the movements, and if I'm not, I can make adjustments to those. So let's just say I'm gonna incrementally move forward. Next frame. Okay. And so I say at some point that maybe I felt like this needed to be adjusted or moved over. See, I'm on 20. Maybe it needed to take a little longer to get there. So I'm moving my keyframes around to smooth out, slow down, or speed up. Okay, remember, if you move it to the left, you're speeding it up. If you move it to the right, you're slowing it down. So if you're looking at the movements on your object that you've created and you're saying, okay, maybe that part is moving too fast, I want to slow it down, go in, select the part, here are your keyframes, shift it to the right. It's going to slow it down for you. Of course, oops, there we go. So it slowed down a little bit towards the end. It went quickly into motion, but as it got closer to the box, it slowed down because I moved my keyframe to the right to give it more time to create that motion. And so when you're learning what the right timing is, you'll eventually get the hang of it. It'll just become unconscious, and your unconscious brain will just take over, and you'll just know how to move it. But right now, while your eye and brain are trying to learn how to coordinate with not so much your hand, but with the computer, make an attempt at it, and then evaluate it. Take a look at it. Do what we call in industry a post-mortem. When you're done, look at it and say, how could I have fixed this? And one of the things is usually I want to speed it up, I want to slow it down. Just move those keyframes around, and that will do it for you. Okay. So in the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to do something called link constraints. We're going to use link constraints to do temporary linking. Okay, see you there.